So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. And the Galaxy S26 Ultra has finally arrived in studio. Actually, pretty impressive that it's here 4 days early than the release date. Now, this is my pre-order. You can see you're going to get this likely in your box. It says Galaxy S26 series. If we go ahead and turn this around, you can pause and read if you want, but essentially it's a thank you card and you could scan to win a $500 Visa gift card. So yeah, pretty nice little pamphlet in the box, but we're not gonna, you've probably seen an unboxing already, so we're just gonna go through this kind of quickly, and then I'm gonna do my first hands-on thoughts about it and kind of give you a look at some other devices so you can see what it's kind of gonna look at coming from other phones. So let's reveal the color option that I went with, and I went with the white Galaxy S26 Ultra. Now, for some people, this is not always the most exciting color because it's not the one that's front and center like the violet you see right there, but at the same time, you know, I've been using dark phones for a while. If you haven't noticed, a lot of the phones I've been covering, besides the orange iPhone, have been darker color options recently. So I'm kind of happy to go with a lighter color. But right away out of the gate, feeling a lot like the S25 Ultra. And let me show you what else I picked up with this so you can see. There's a lot of accessories that you can pre-order with this, but I went with the Galaxy S26 Ultra silicone magnet case right here. And this is one of the things Samsung was talking about, that most people are just going to get a magnetic case. They actually offer quite a few of them as well. So MagSafe type feature not necessarily needed, but I would still like to see it on S27 Ultra. You can see every year I do tend to go with an anti-reflective film. This is just going to continue to give you that anti-reflective property when you still put a screen protector on it. So I went with that as well. And I did want to show you, because I always like to look at how the boxes change year over year. So from the S24 Ultra, you can see they kind of have a bigger graphic there on the box, looking a little bit more modern there. You'll see Galaxy S25 Ultra nearly similar, but they kind of made it look like it's a larger phone on the box anyway. But that's just a little small thing right there. Let's go ahead and do the peel and see how it sounds. So let's go ahead and, oh, that was pretty nice. Definitely a nice peel. And let's take a quick look around the edges of this phone. I want to see how this thing looks. So you do have yourself a power button, volume rocker, and I actually didn't go in any Best Buy. I didn't watch any unboxing videos because I wanted to experience this firsthand for the first time for myself. And you could see right there, microphone holes. Off to the left, we do have antenna lines right there. And man, this white is very clean. You can see at the bottom, we do have ourselves the SIM card tray. Thank you, Samsung, for keeping that around. I definitely need that. I love my SIM card tray. It is eSIM supported as well, though. USB-C, now that is a faster version. S Pen over here. And then on the other side, we already are over there. You'll see they finally brought back the nicer looking camera. None of that plastic business around the edges of it. It does have like that island type thing over here, similar to what we find on the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And we'll compare this to the S25 Ultra later in this video. But first impressions, it feels nearly like the same exact phone with just a different camera housing. That's my first impressions so far. So let's go ahead and boot this thing up and let me know how you're liking the black table. I'm going to start using the black table probably for premium videos like this one with the premium devices and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get this thing started up there, and you'll see Galaxy S26 Ultra. Now, this is a 6.9 inch panel. This does have 12 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and it feels really nice. So I'm not going to actually bore you with the setup process. I just want to see if there's anything in here. If there's anything that stands out through the setup process, I'll come back really quickly. Otherwise, I'll see you when I'm in the phone. All right, so we're now on the phone. I didn't notice anything super special on the login or setup, just basically like most other Samsung phones. While this island definitely looks a little bit better, it creates this tilt on the table. So that is definitely one major rock on that Galaxy S26 Ultra. Now on the S25 Ultra, that is still present, but not quite as much. That's a pretty severe angle. So this phone, you're definitely going to want a case if you tend to put it on a table faced, well, the camera faced like this, it's not going to matter, but with the camera at the table. A couple other things here in the box. It's probably just going to be warranty guides, SIM card tray. You don't even get a charger in the box anymore. So definitely not, it's not that special. We don't got to go on and on about that. There's not much else to talk when it comes to the box. And the boxes are becoming nearly Do we even need a box? Like it's just kind of to protect the phone in shipping. That's what it kind of feels like these days. But let's go ahead and see how much storage comes right out of the gate. This is the 256 gigs. I usually went with the 512 gigs just because they were offering it, but 256 gigs is enough for me. I think maybe in the future when the chip shortage thing becomes taken care of, they might go back to those storage discounts. But you do get, it is using 31 gigs right out of the gate. I set this up as if it's not my full account because I just wanted to see what the full storage is right there. And yeah, the home buttons are on there like this right now because I didn't transfer my phone over yet. But you do have One UI 8.5, which is going to be pretty smooth. But let's go ahead and look at the top headlining feature. Definitely got to do that here, privacy display. So let's go ahead and turn that on. And you can see automatically that phone kind of looks dim. But if I bring it to the angles, look at that. That is innovative. Check that out. If somebody's trying to look over your shoulders, what they're going to see is this tinted look where they can barely see anything. That is absolutely game changing. I really hope they continue to bring this feature, refine it even more, and bring it to other Samsung phones. This is absolutely amazing. And I know it sounds like I'm glazing here, but I always get excited when I see anything that's actually new and that's actually new. Now, the overall display itself looks kind of similar to the S25 Ultra, but I'm going to have to see if it's as vivid. I'm a little bit concerned about if this phone is going to be as vivid now that it has a privacy display option. Like I'm a little bit concerned about that. So I'll check into that. So we brought the brightness down. Let's go ahead and click on the privacy display and click maximum privacy protection. And you'll see it gets even more hard to see right there. So this is incredible, especially for people out in public. As a matter of fact, this is probably going to go into my main Android phone now just because of that feature. I might even stop using my Fold 7 just for that, because I technically, I really do like the privacy aspects of Knox, the secure folder, and adding the privacy display, just making this a really good option once again for more security on Samsung products. All right, so let's go ahead and check the smoothness. You can see everything's really smooth. I will be doing my speed test comparison, so stay tuned. That's likely coming before you can blink an eye. It's going to be very soon here, so definitely, okay, maybe not before you can blink an eye, but it's coming soon, so be subscribed for that. But performance looking good. Right there was just a little chop because I'm not signed in or whatever, but this is going to be pretty much as smooth as most phones out there. Probably a little bit cooler to the touch with this newer vapor chamber. It is the largest vapor chamber ever in an Ultra, so it's going to be even cooler to the touch. You can see Samsung logo is kind of in there. It's a little bit hard to see there, but we got it right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the wallpapers really quick while we're in this phone. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to just make an empty page here, and let me hold down. We'll go to wallpapers and styles, and you can see there's your Galaxy S26 Ultra specific wallpapers. You'll have different colors, and you're likely going to get the color that matches the phone color choice you go with right there. So that's kind of nice. Let's go ahead and pull out the S Pen, see how this works right here. Placement is on the left. You'll see right there, S Pen available, and this is still a key separator for Samsung. A lot of phones don't have this, so you definitely still have this, and I'm glad that they're listening and not getting rid of it. Some people say, who needs that? I don't need that. Some people don't need it. A lot of people don't need it, but you got to separate yourself somehow, and this has always been one of my favorite separators for the product. And as a matter of fact, while it might not be useful for everybody, you know, sometimes you need to write a note down. You need to draw something. Some people are visual. What is that? Some people are visual learners, and they need to showcase something to somebody. Maybe they're trying to say like, hey, you need to go up this road, go left, go right. You know what I'm saying? And they want to draw a little road. And when you get to the stop sign up here, make sure you stop there, look to your left. You know, you could do stuff like this with the S Pen, or you can just jot down notes. You can draw. You can use it as a stylus to kind of go through things. It's still a nice feature, even if it doesn't have Bluetooth functionality like it used to. It looks like the way it's angled, you can actually, it's not reversible though. So if you put this S Pen in the wrong way, it's not going to probably click in there. Okay, it does, but look at this. If you put it in the opposite way, it looks really weird right there. It doesn't feel like it matches the phone. So you likely want to put it in this way. So you can actually put it in either way, but it looks much cleaner when you put it in the proper way. So do keep that in mind. That's a little bit of a design issue right there, if you ask me. So here's the cameras, 200 megapixel. We have a 10 megapixel telephoto, 50 megapixel as well on here. And you know, let's go ahead and just kind of see. I'm not doing every single spec right now. Just it's still a 200 megapixel. Let's put it that way. And you can see it looking very good as usual. And you'll have all your modes right here. You'll be able to add more in there. You can actually download some in the Galaxy Store. Video is going to give you even more same options as before with the 8K. You're still going to get log recording and all that good stuff in here. And essentially the front-facing camera not substantially different. Their processing though is what is going to change. The AI processing is what's going to give you better results on this phone. So when you snap the photo, it's going to analyze the image and process the image in a way that looks a little bit more clear, especially in a lot of motion photos. So people who complained about motion blur and those things where things are in movement, this is going to actually improve for you on this phone. So that's kind of some of the key things. We'll talk a little bit, we'll dive more deep into the camera in the full review, but especially, you know, it's not substantially upgraded over the S25 Ultra, but you do get a few things that make it better for sure over some S22, S23, or, you know, maybe even S24 Ultra phones. So some other quick things I did want to mention: under display fingerprint sensor. I don't have it set up as of this video right now. It's just a quick hands-on. We do have 60-watt wireless or wired charging, and then we do have 25-watt wireless. So they actually included a faster charging speed on this phone. So finally getting close to those faster phones, not quite there, but at 60 watts, that should charge this thing relatively quickly. You do have the availability to get this phone in cobalt violet, sky blue, this white you see here, silver shadow, or pink gold. Now I didn't go with silver shadow, that's an exclusive color, because I had silver on some of the other phones. They just look pretty plain to me, so I didn't want to go with the white. Kind of reminds me of those older classic white Samsung phones, if you remember what I'm talking about. You do have yourself Bluetooth 6.0 on here, Wi-Fi 7, 6E, all the connectivity jazz is here. So this is an Ultra phone through and through in terms of having all the best features you can get on a phone. My first impressions, my first thoughts hands-on are a polished, refined S25 Ultra. Big upgrade from people from an S23 Ultra, S22 Ultra, and I think a happy one for S24 Ultra users. That's my first thoughts on this so far, but it's not like game changing, but you'll probably still enjoy how it got more comfortable, lighter. It has better cameras. It has, you know, better speed, better cooling. It's a good upgrade from S24 Ultra and lower. But that's really not a needed upgrade for some people, but still, you know, it's a really refined, polished version of the Ultra line. I think this might be the last time we see this type of look until maybe next year they're going to make it a lot different looking. That's what I feel like is about to come. That's just my personal feeling about it, but that could be wrong. Let's see how it looks compared to some other phones now. So this is just a quick hands-on look comparison at some other phones. Probably its top competitor, the iPhone 17 Pro Max. A little bit taller looking. Definitely very smooth on the edges, just like this phone. Again, this is the Armor aluminum, so it did help it get smoother on the edges. It also does have better cooling because they went with aluminum over titanium, and mostly it's the vapor chamber. But you can see these are kind of similar in size and footprint. It's still that little bit more rounded feel on the iPhone, but nowhere near as like sharp in the corners on the Samsung now. They still kind of retain their iconic look, but with a more comfortable feel. I also think the camera layout is cleaner looking on the Samsung versus this big plateau up here. But I like how they both have their own unique look. You can definitely tell this is the iPhone. You can definitely tell that's the Galaxy. The thing with the iPhone, though, is that they made this orange really stand out as their top version. With this Samsung, I feel like most Samsung have this type of camera in the back. From a distance, you might not know. That's the S26 Ultra. Let's go ahead and take a look at it against the S25 Ultra. We kind of pulled this in earlier, but we'll take a closer look. I think the camera housing looks much better on the S26 Ultra. That's my take. I just didn't like those rings around the S25 Ultra, but I don't like the rock on the table, but at the same time, I do like the look a lot more of that. If we go to the sides here, they're kind of the same there. And overall, the S25 Ultra feels like just a slightly heavier, maybe you can say a little bit more premium feeling with their titanium. But one of the things I noticed is it doesn't have that 5G antenna on the S26 Ultra, so that's a little bit cleaner looking to me. And you could see at the top, basically exactly the same. And then if we look at the bottom here of both these phones, I don't want to drop that phone. You can see right there, the S Pen slot definitely looks better on the S25 Ultra. but they had to angle it because they kind of rounded the corners a little bit more now for the S26 Ultra. So that's that phone. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. A couple older competitors or older phones you might be trading in. S24 Ultra. This feels like an old heavy luxury car. This feels like a modern refined version of that same product. That's how I feel about this hefty S24 Ultra, but still a very premium feel. But you get this lighter, sleeker, more modern look on S26 Ultra over here. See, I'm so used to saying S25 because it feels very similar. But up at the top, you could see kind of the same look up there. Again, a lot more clunky though feeling on the S24 Ultra. You'll see right there, we do have ourselves the power button volume rockers. And if we look at the bottom, you'll see right there, USB-C, S Pen, definitely better looking on the S24 Ultra. And some people are still going to say the S24 Ultra looks better. And I wouldn't disagree if that's, I'm not going to go against that. If you feel that way, that's fine. But one of the things about the S24 Ultra is it has barely any rock. This phone right here definitely rocks more on the table pretty substantially, but that's just fixed by a case, real simple. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the iPhone 16 Pro Max. You might be like, yeah, I like Apple, but I'm going to try Samsung this time. There you go. I do think the 16 Pro Max still looks very clean for sure. You can see right there, kind of in the same size range right there. You see on the edges right here. So definitely action button over there. Cleaner on the Samsung on the left side as they have less buttons. So to me, that looks cleaner. You'll see right here, not too much different at the bottom. Still that rounded look though. It's always going to be that rounded look for the edges of the iPhone. That's just what they do. And let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more and then we'll head up out of here. The OnePlus 15. So OnePlus 15, definitely one of my favorite Android phones recently launched. We'll definitely do a comparison to these two, see how they perform next to each other, and it's going to be fun. So you'll see right there, both of these feel very nice. These both feel very like 2026 right here. So these two definitely competitive. I definitely like this OnePlus 15 as well. And let's lastly give it a look next to the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL. So you'll see right here, I love this Google Pixel 10 Pro XL color scheme. It's just beautiful. I like the uniqueness of these products though. You can see the camera bar, the camera over here, island thing straight down looking like vertically. I like how they have their own identities. It really does make it feel like you're with that particular phone brand as you're using the product. You're like, yep, this is a Samsung. Yep, this is a Pixel. You can just tell. Like they have found their place in the market. But the Pixel is a little bit heftier, a little bit smoother to hold actually, but definitely not as fast. We can do a comparison though anyway, just to see, because the Pixel's still charging close to the same prices though. So that's why I do those comparisons. But wrapping it up, that's it for me on my hands-on. It went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I've been excited to cover this and I wanted to give some detailed comparison looks at the end. So let me know what you want to see going forward. I do have speed test comparisons as well as other comparisons coming soon. We're going to be doing plenty of those on this. We're going to build out a whole series on this phone and multiple different comparisons to other phones that you might be interested in trading or buying instead of this. So I'm really excited to do those. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think down below. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great weekend. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.